Okay, I just wanted to get away the camera a little bit away from everybody so I could talk a little bit. And see if I can show you some things. See all the lines everywhere? See all these lines? The images are within these lines, okay? Something that I have not mentioned yet in this series, I'm going to talk a little bit about right now. And then if I am allowed the chance to get behind the computer, I'll explain it more later. If you go watch my old videos from the last 9 years, you'll hear me talk about all these things I'm about to mention all the time as I learned them, as I seen them and figured them out on my own. Begging everybody to please come in and look for themselves. Okay, all these lines that we're seeing everywhere, that are surrounding these images. I want to bring up the builders. The builders are triangular in shape, and we see them all around us, everywhere, in the clouds, in the trees, in the rocks, in the moon, in our skin, in the grass, in the anywhere, everywhere, because it's the true creator system and it's the true creators, builders that are building everything in here. And I'm going to build up to something a little bit here, okay, as I tell you about the builders. So the builders are everywhere. There's no space in this footage right here of these clouds, this so-called cloud area that doesn't show me the builders. I see it all. But now from my camera to those clouds, you see nothing, right? It's all nothing. I can show you the imagery that we can all see it for ourselves wherever we look, right? So in a minute, I'm gonna go in on some trees. I'm gonna go in on a rock just to explain this to you guys, and you can all see this. This is not magic. It's what we've been denying for I don't know how many thousands of years, but we all knew this before in our past lives. We all knew what I'm about to say. So the triangular builders, those are the true creators builders. Now in comes the false creator slash creator, I call them. That's why I refer to them, because I don't refer to anything as God and Satan unless I'm being sarcastic anymore. I refer to these entities, if you want to even call them that, as the true creator. You can see the true creator's work, you can see the true creator's build, and you can see what we call feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast being built for us everywhere, faces only, and we can see them being built. Who's building them? These triangular shapes, these triangular entities that I'm telling you about that are all around us. There's no gap between this camera and those clouds. It's all builders all around me. I'm pointing out two things in this video. The builders, which we can all see, triangular in shape. They're always going to be different triangular shapes, and there's long conversations we can have about that. The second thing is what I was talking to you during the moon videos. If you watch my moon videos, I was starting to tell you about the timelines, which I'm going to bring you in on. They have more of an impact showing you the timelines in the moon, but I want to show you also, building up to that video, I want to show you the timelines everywhere else, because we can all see them everywhere we are, right? And you're not going to believe that they're timelines, but you'll get to know them. I'm going to say, as I've been saying, start with seeing the images and having an appreciation for that. Try to prove me wrong on the feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast as you're looking. Make sure that if you are going to challenge me on the feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast, just please be a real person, not a robot or somebody that just is not looking or who's using their imagination. I don't want to use no more imagination. It's unnecessary. The belief systems and believing in everything, unnecessary. We don't have to do that anymore. We can see it all now. We can hear it all too, and that will get better and better as we look. We were fed these lies that if we seen images in the cloud level mostly, but we were also told to, if you're walking down a trail at night with the moonlight on the trees and you've seen the images in the trees, you're supposed to not tell anybody because they say you were crazy and all that shit. So the reasoning has been set up for a long, long time to why we're not supposed to, on a human scale, by the lion-ass tongue, by the lion-ass human. In other words, our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, our ancestors, this goes way back, all liars. So it's important that we're able to see the timelines. I'm going to say that when you're looking at timelines, to start off with, notice the builders around things, because that's how they push and pull all these images into place for us. Since I have my hand up there, if I let some light go on my hand, we can do the same thing with human skin. I'd have to turn the other way. All right. So there you go. So there's human skin, right? I'm shaking a little bit, but if you pause the video and you look in there, okay, you're going to see the same fucking thing that I'm showing you everywhere else. Feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast, from the veil to the ground, it is this way. Faces only, I also have to mention. So those timelines are in that. If you pause that video of my hand right there, you're going to see the timelines also in my human skin. And it's one of the reasons why I want to talk about this a little bit. We all think that we're born and we grow. And when you start to notice the true creator's work and the false creator/creator's work, you'll start to notice that it's nothing that we were ever told. I would say it's almost always opposite of what we were told things are, but we'll have visual evidence for it. And when you're putting it all together, I want anyone who does come to this and see this and going to understand how to see it easier and better and understand it better. So all this emptiness that's all around me, right? Like, again, from the camera to the clouds right now at this moment, you think that it's nothing. And that's one of the important things to know, that that's why the human lie known as zero and infinity exist. That's why humans created the lie. One of the reasons why we created the lie, zero and infinity, because you think from this camera to the clouds is zero. You think there's nothing there. And that's why we put zeros in our math. One of the reasons. And same thing goes for this. Okay, so you think that from my camera to those trees is zero. You think nothing. At best, you'll maybe give me some oxygen, some other particles that are all on a large enough scale viewable. In other words, it would look like, let me try this another way. Okay, so if I digitally collect the imagery right now from those trees, which I'll do, I'm trying to go where the sun is. Okay, digital collection of electromagnetic nanocarbon from the area we call the trees over there. Okay, feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast, faces only. Okay, and then so I just did the clouds, I just did the trees, and then last week we seen me do this rock. I'll do it again, just so you can understand what I'm saying. Okay, feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast, over and over from the veil to the ground, faces only, all directions. And take note, I'm holding the camera so I can't really stick my finger in there, but take note of all the lines, all of the lines, all directions, the lines that are building these images, the triangular shapes that make up the lines, okay? Because this is going to be important later when we get back to the moon. It's important now, but I think I can show it to you better so you understand it better when I'm doing a video on the moon. Okay, back to the cloud level for a minute so I can talk. Okay. All right. All right, the timelines. The reason why I even wanted to talk about the timelines today was because when I went in, I was thinking about some things that different people were saying about transporting through time, and what is time, and time being a human concept. And not too many people are going to listen to me talk about that stuff. But these people have millions of views and they're all wrong. I don't know if they're purposely wrong. I don't know if they're accidental, coincidental zombie slaves like the rest of us. I don't know, you know. Um, but I hate seeing everybody distracted by all the lies. It drives me crazy when we can see the reality of it all for ourselves, all around us. These are not my clouds showing the timelines. It's not my human skin. It's not my trees and my rocks that are showing you the timelines and the builders. I mean, again, same thing. Look for all the triangular shapes that you see everywhere in the clouds. Let me get back here. In the clouds, okay, in the trees right here. Look at all the triangular shapes that are all throughout all these trees, right? And you can see the blue sky, you know, through the trees here and there. You can see the light coming through the trees. If I put my hand up to show you images more clearly, I'm bringing the lights and shadows. I'm moving the lights and shadows around because, as I keep pointing out, that's what it's all about as far as seeing it, is knowing about the lights and shadows and how they're working and all that, so you can see the images better. Because seeing and confirming the images for ourselves is the stage one. That's the first part, and being able to accept it as reality. And the only thing that's going to do that is the clearer and more crisp I can make the images for you. So I'm showing them to you as crisply and clearly as possible. Is that a word? Crispy, as crisp and clear, I guess is the word, as I possibly can. So I'm and I know that everyone can see them when I'm showing this to you, but you're going to be trying to take your brain down other avenues that what I'm showing you is the lie. What you can go see for yourself, you can take your own camera in your own hand, use it as a viewing device so it makes it easier for you. You can go see and digitally collect the EMNC the same way I am right now from any tree, any rock, your own human skin. It's your moon too. You can look at the moon as well. They're your clouds too. You can, what you call clouds, you know, they're yours too. You can do the same thing that I'm doing and get an appreciation for it. Everyone's going to call you crazy. Well, I think it's a little too late for that. With all the things going down all over this earth, it's a little too late for that. We just all seem to be arguing with each other about all lies on all sides. What I'm showing you takes all that away because no one can lie to us anymore. No, you can't even lie to your fucking selves. You won't even be able to lie to yourselves, and that's scary to people. People are very afraid of that. What I'm showing you is not my reality only. This is everyone's reality. We can all go see it. We've never had that before. Not ever that we know of, right? In our history, no one's ever allowed us to have truth and reality. So I'm offering it to you, and that's why you don't want to go look at it. So you're going to allow your brain to use all these different excuses that are already put there for you. Oh, that's your imagination. Oh, what I'm showing you on TV and on the internet, that's the reality. What I'm telling you in your newspapers and in your Bibles and in your books and all your other shit, that's the reality. What you can see for yourself and hear with your own ears, no, that's a lie. So don't go believing it, otherwise we'll lock your asses up, right? Um, One of the reasons why I wanted to talk about everything's always one of the reasons with me. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not a fucking entertainer. One of the reasons why I wanted, another reason why I wanted to bring some of these things up today about the timelines and the builders, to start having an appreciation for the triangular builders, start having an appreciation for the timelines because we can see them all. I don't have the timelines down pat. I wish I could say I did, but I'm all by myself. I say that all the time. I do make these little breakthroughs with the timelines every now and then, but I don't push it. I just figure when we're supposed to know, we'll know, you know. But I can identify them. You all can. We all can. All right. So when I start showing them to you in the moon, you're going to keep in mind, which I already have in many, many videos, but I'm just saying in this latest series, we're going to remember these trees, that rock I just showed you, these particular clouds, all in this video as I get these next couple things through your head. Okay, back to the zeros. see, where do I? Yeah, I'll just stay up here. Back to the zeros. The reasons why, some of the reasons why, I won't say one of the reasons, some of the reasons why, one of them being that from my, again, from my camera up to those clouds, the whole zero thing, and nothing being there, and us in our imaginations imagining that this is all zero, that there's nothing there from us up to those clouds because we can't see it. So as I'm showing it to you in my human skin, because that's real time and something that you can all do for yourselves, take your camera, zoom in on your skin, put a filter on the camera, because lights and shadows, so you can add some different color lights, you can add different color filters that will give you the different color light. You can do a lot of different things to make this easier on you to have an appreciation for, because there's several reasons that this is a big deal. When they told you you've seen images in the sky at the cloud level, they did not tell you anything about it only being faces only. That's why people will use their imagination and point at the elephant. And I say, fuck you, because I do it a lot. I used to do it more than I do now because I used to confront people on the street more than I do now. Now everything's just on YouTube videos and I don't waste as much time. But when I used to confront, um, humanity on the street all the time, then they would do that to me. They would do that. If I, faces only. That's the important thing. So the conspiracies never told us, hey, you're crazy if you see feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast faces only. No, what they said was, oh, that's your imagination when you see images. So people can use their imagination to see an elephant's body or a lion's body or a human's body. And I'll get deeper on body imagery later, because there is a place that it all comes from. Obviously, we have them. So obviously, we have bodies. But my point to that is, I guess, is that I want to get across is that the true creator did not see these images in his original build. The true creator did not see them as feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast. Humans put those names on them after the false creator/creator did his build. The evidence in the timelines and who's in control of the builders is how you're going to understand the difference between the true creator's work and the false creator/creator's work. Okay, the false creator/creator's entire build was built on division, where the true creator's work is all one. It's all one. So anything that you see as the all one is part of the true. In other words, the timelines, they belong to the true creator. The false creator/creator stole the true creator's work. I look at it as a breakaway energy, kind of similar to the biblical stories, except not using spiritual or biblical terminology. So using more electrical terminology to describe what I'm trying to tell you, you can see for yourselves. And you're going to know this by seeing feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast everywhere you look, in the grass, in the snow, in the rain, in the moon, everywhere around you. You can see this. This is the way it is from the veil to the ground. Okay. But all of a sudden, when any species turns bio, now we're talking about the false creator/creator's work, because us as biospecies come with these bodies. Everything was divided in order to give us what we call human bodies, canine bodies, feline bodies, all the bodies, right? Okay, so that you're going to be able to understand as you're looking at the images. You're going to be thinking about that as you're going along. And there's a lot of evidence for us in the fact that just proving to yourself that, yes, he's right. It's only feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast. Yes, it's faces only. Yeah, he's right. The only body imagery I see is like shadow imagery. I can't get any real detail out of it. One every 10 million images. I don't know how many million, because I never really added them up, because I see tens of millions per day that I'm looking, because I'm always looking. If I don't want to look for them, I don't see them. I'll only see the bio realm. I'll only see the shithole that we've created as human beings. I'm not going to see and understand everything else, that I now understand today. Um, And I can't go all the way back to that world. Like when I look at the trees now today, I know what these trees are all about. They're not what we were told they were all about. They steal up our energy. They take our energy from the sun. They go deep down in the ground, their roots, and they steal up all the heavy metals and minerals that we as human beings need for our electrical systems. The trees are not our friends, even though you'll see a lot of trees and a lot of greenage around me. So I am able to keep one foot in the bio realm without going totally insane, but I also have a deep understanding, and I've done research, you want to call it, on it, looked into it, and I've come to the term. And again, you can all do the same research and you will find that's exactly what's happening. um Off the story a little bit. Okay, so back to this. Okay, so from my camera to the tree, zero in between. Nothing is in between here. Now, the reason why I showed you my human skin is for the same reason why I'm going to suggest that anybody doing this, and I've done them, I've got videos, I'm just being lazy and I don't want to do one today. But what I could do is set my camera right here and I go start a fire right here somewhere in the middle. Usually what I'll do, if you go look at the videos, I'll start like 3 or 4 fires, because what I want to show you is that as the smoke is going up, I'm digitally collecting the EM&C from the smoke in an area that you're considering zero. You don't think there's anything here where my fingers are wiggling. So if I start a fire and show you feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast, and the smoke bellowing up, then you start to get it, right? And then I go another 10, 15 feet over and do the same thing. And then I'll get a second fire going. And then this fire will be spittling only a little bit. Then the next fire starts going up. And again, feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast, faces only. Still the same builders, triangular builders, building the smoke, building everything that's going up, right? That's a whole nother thing, going up and what going up actually is. Then I can start a third fire, do the same thing, and work my way all the way to the tree. Then I let the fire go down, and then again collect from the tree again. So this way you really get it through your head by going from human skin, digitally collect the EM&C from human skin. I'm going deeper. Okay, then the fires, 1, 2, 3 fires, and then the tree. And then what I'll usually do is pop back up to the cloud level, and then digitally collect the EM&C, point out the timelines that are in all of these things, point out the timelines in the smoke, point out the builders in the smoke, point out the imagery in the smoke, and that's the way those videos usually go. So this is your guys' cheaper version, but then again, I'm better at explaining it now, believe it or not, as long as that took me to explain that. But it's a big deal, because we think that as we're babies, we're born as a, we come from a seed no matter what. We grow in mommy's belly, however you want to describe it, put it, just like every other biospecies. And we think that we're growing up. And as we're growing, our body is the limit at which we grow, but that's not the case. In other words, even before I start the fire, even before the smoke starts going up, the images are already there. The builders are already there before those clouds get put out in the sky, right? Because they dump them out of jets now, right? That's the new way of our clouds. Nobody wants to admit it. No one wants to talk about it, but that's what it is. So when they dump out all the trails all over and they turn into these clouds, the imagery is already there for us. We just can't see it in zero. In zero, we cannot see it. We created the zero. We made it zero because we deny what's in between this camera and those clouds. We deny what's in between those camera and those trees and the smoke and my skin. We deny it and we call it a zero. We call it nothing. But really, the builders are already there. The timelines are already there. It's another way of looking at timelines other than the false creator slash creator's clock. The false creator slash creator's clock is the moon. This is a reality. This is the truth. And we can look up at the moon at any time and know all the timelines all over the earth. That's why I call it moon map model, not a heliocentric model, not a geocentric model. Just for simplification, I call it a moon map model because all the energy comes down from the stationary stars and it comes down through the moon. The moon acts as a electromagnetic nanocarbon regulator. It's exactly what it is. It belongs to the false creator slash creator. It's not part of the one, it's part of the duality. It's part, the false creator slash creator build was all based on division. Everything was divided in order to come up with everything. That's why we have X and Y. That's why we have male and female. That's why we have up and down, left and right, back and forth. That's why we have in and out. You know, you name it. Everything has been based on division with the false creator slash creator's work. Okay, false creator slash creator's build did not include all of the creatures that we can see with our own eyes in a bio way. And the reason why I want to mention this is because there's a lot of people out there trying to sell the story that we live in a hallucination or we live in a hologram or that we live in a simulation, right? All these things. No. Because if that was the case, then everything would be like zero, feel like zero. We wouldn't have the bio touch where I can touch my fingers together like this. We wouldn't be able to have that feeling. Our computer technology, that the bio creatures that we are, maybe did have that technology at one time, but not today. Today we have all this mass, let's put it that way. We have all this mass that we can hit on each other to create sound resonance or build things and do all this with it, right? Otherwise we would be going like this, not being able to get onto anything because we lived in a hallucination or we lived in a dream or we lived in a even the movie, what was it, the Matrix. We don't live in a fucking matrix either. It's not a mixture. We got fucked by humans. I don't know how many thousands of years ago, but what humans did was they stole the false creator slash creator's work. The reason why this is easy to see and understand is when you notice and take note that it's only feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast faces only from the veil to the ground, then you know without a doubt that that was the false creator slash creator stealing the images that the true creator had already made, because those are the true creator's images, but he does not call them because he does not name them. He sees them as one. He doesn't see them as separate creatures, feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast. How do I know that? Because we all know that. We can see it by looking at the tree. And this is another hard part for a lot of people. It's all collaged. It's all collaged. Why is everything so collaged? Why, if I go from the rock to the grass, I can digitally collect the EMNC right now from both the, so can you, you can see the faces in both. From the rock to the grass, I can digitally collect all the faces from the grass just as much as I can the rock, okay? And the tree and the clouds is all the same. They all blend into each other, right? Okay, so knowing that and being able to see what I just did, pause your camera and look and think about what I'm explaining to you. In the true creator's work, it's all one. The rock is one with the grass, is one with the tree, is one with the human, which is one with the cat, which is one with the dog, which is one with the kangaroo, the elephant, the fish, the lobster. Okay, we're all one in the true creator's work. That's why it's so collaged. I just right now holding this camera look like one human standing here holding the camera. One of the things I want to try to stress, and I always got this big buildup, and I have to explain all this shit before I can tell you these punchlines. So the builders are building everything in this realm at all times. Now these builders were stolen by the false creator slash creator from the true creator. In other words, he uses them at his will. The false creator slash creator uses these builders at his will because he knew the system. He divided himself from the true creator's energy. He divided himself over and over and over again. And he used the faces that we call human faces, feline faces, canine faces. He uses them to build his bio realm. The reason why you have evidence for that, because when you go look that is not a feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, or a beast, but yet that's all the imagery that's in that tree. Okay. So any bio species that are not on the list, like I was just saying, kangaroo, dinosaur, unicorn, bring them all in. Bring all your imaginary bullshit into it, right? No matter what, they're not there. They're not there. You're not going to be able to show me. You can show me, and I'll go along with you. We'll prove that you're wrong, but that's all right. I like it. I like being challenged. It wakes more people up that way. So the next thing you have to ask yourself is that so so the builders are already here building that tree before it grows. They're already there in the zero building this tree. And this tree, as high as it grows, whether lightning hits it or not, all that, whatever could possibly happen, a fire could hit it, whatever, anything that happens to this fucking tree, the builders will still be there. There will always be. You could hit them with a nuclear bomb. You could hit this fucking tree with, and the builders will still be there. You will see them bellowing up in the smoke after the explosion and all that kind of shit. The builders will still be there. That shows us that that's the evidence that we all need about the true creator's work and the difference between it. Because if trees are not in the imagery, same as lobsters not being in the imagery, then that means the false creator slash creator could not, they were not there for him to steal during his bio build. Okay. So when he took the faces from the true creator's work, which is all around us, right? We can see all the builders and what they're building. And when the false creator, this is maybe a conclusion that I make that um, I may not have any direct evidence for it other than the visual evidence that I'm trying to show all of you that it's feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast. That's why it's so important that you all notice that yourselves, because then you will also have the same evidence that I'm telling you. You can see for yourselves. It's not something I can tell you about and want you to believe me. You have to go see it to understand it. And you can see it. We've all been seeing it. We were just told not to look. So the false creator slash creator stole the true creator's images, built himself a biosystem. At some point, and I got guesses on timelines and what times these things happen and stuff, but nothing's set in stone. So it's kind of worthless for me to suggest such things. But because if I tell you how I got the information, it's not good. I mean, it's too much. The fucking human brain snaps. So, anyways, um, so the builders are already building me long before I'm even born. They're already here building everything in this realm. They work as slaves on the behalf of the false creator slash creator in his bio build, but also at the same time, they fall slave to the humans because humans had the capacity, the knowledge to be able to copy, replicate, whether it was by accident at first, I don't know. The timeline has to go back to thousands of years before we were moving 800 ton stones, carving them perfect, lining them, dropping them down miles into holes and lifting them up miles off the ground. All right. Um, Maybe not miles off the ground, but thousands of feet off the ground, thousands of feet in the ground. It's still for 300 ton, 800 ton stones. It's impossible to do in a bio system, right? So we obviously had the electrical technology of our own bodies, our own true electrical selves. We knew our own electrical selves at one time, but we lost it. I always accuse everybody of selling out because I just see humans as fucking sellouts. So most likely we sold out, and now only the most wealthiest, most powerful, I guess I'll describe them, because wealth was only made to be important because the zombie slaves fell into all the bullshit. Meaning that We don't need fucking even food, right? We need heavy metals and minerals. That's what we need. So and liquids now at this point because we're so bio. When we were more electrical, the liquid was probably only used as acidics, just like a battery would be used, right? So there was probably certain liquids that our bodies needed, but it probably was not even water at that time. The further bio we became, and there is evidence for this as well, and I'll show you later, but it's not even certain yet to me that humans were always bio. We might have been synthetic at one time. There might have been a synthetic version of the humans that looked just like us, but were synthetic. Kind of like we're about to go back to now if they hook us up to the AI, right? If our brains go uploading to the AI, then our brains will then be in another synthetic body, heavy metals and plastics, right? So it's kind of the same idea. It's just going backwards, backwards in order to fucking do it. I'm not saying that being electrical wasn't better. It might have been. It might have been better to be electrical. But now, at this point, it's total slavery. It's not like it was back then. Now it's total slavery. You're not even being told what I'm telling you now. You're just thinking, oh, yeah, that's great. Bring in the AI. Let's get it hooked up. Yeah, facial recognition on every corner. Sure. Oh, yeah. There's a chemtrail jet going back to fill up. Probably heading. No, it's not going north. I was going to say a lot of them fuel up in Canada. Maybe since Trump's fighting with Canada now, maybe they don't do that no more. I haven't paid attention to it in a while. So you're gonna notice where's the lobsters, where's the seals, where's the fish, where's the kangaroo, where's the giraffe, where's the all these and do that question, where's the alligator, where's the snake? We hear all this Freemason shit about snakes, and nah, they're not even in there. They're not even part of the false creators slash creators building and nor the true creators work. So there are no snakes. If you see anything like that, let me know, get it on video, and I will probably be able to show you the human insert of whatever it is you're looking at, because that does happen. I've seen that in the past where humans will be putting on some kind of psyop, so they put up fake shit in the sky or whatever, and everybody falls for it. And then I go and show the imagery and also it's kind of the same thing like what we do with hurricanes and tornadoes and shit like that. When I done series on them. I usually don't name them in a series, but during series, I will go into tornado watchers and channels and shit like that, so I can show you that the imagery is the same everywhere. And I'll pull up like they'll be in Oklahoma or California, and something big's going on, in Florida, or tornadoes are coming through, and all kinds of weather, and then I can show you in the clouds and in the dust and whatever is there, the same way I'm telling you about starting a fire here and letting the smoke go up. It's the same thing. It's to prove to you guys that it's not just where I am. This is not a magic show. You can all do this. Anybody can do it. Matter of fact, a lot of people do it. And even when I show them the images, they're too scared to really go look. They're just showing you clouds. There maybe even other channels showing you chemtrails, but and talking about them in a conspiracy type way of things that they can't prove. I'm showing you things we can all see, we can all prove. We can all see this. That's the whole point of the moon, was so that we would be able to see the false creator slash creators clock, and we could live by it here on earth. And I can also show you when we start doing the moon videos where humans, by fucking up different areas on the earth, have changed the shadows and the lights that we can now see on the moon, just by what they interfered with. We interfered here on the earth by not even recognizing what we've done. I believe the way we've done it is with trees. When you see the differences in color that the moon is even today compared to when they were first doing photographs and video of the moon, you'll see even a difference in how large those areas are and all that. So if I can really put it together and get the continents down where they're supposed to be and all that kind of stuff and figure it all out better, I'm sure we can come to those answers, and we'd have all the answers for all that. But we've been lied to so much, and we purposely believe the lies because it just seems easier, that we think we're on a spinning web pararocket ball, or we think we're on a fucking earth that's flat and the water's falling off the edges, or we think all kinds of crazy shit that has nothing to do with reality, and we just go along with it every you know thousands of years worth of lies, and we just keep doing them. It's fucking nuts, man. It's fucking nuts. That's why I would think that everybody would be so happy to find my videos, and they'd be sharing them with everyone they know, even if they didn't see it, even if they don't agree with it, just to be able to. You got to be seeing some of them. You got to be able to see some of the images, just to call somebody out and even say that they're nuts. Hey, Joey, hey, you're into this crazy conspiracy shit. There's this fucking weird moon guy on YouTube. You got to check out his videos. I'm not interested, but you might be interested. So anything, just fucking get it out there. Don't worry, you're not going to make me famous, because if I started making so much YouTube shit, that I would change channels anyways. I wouldn't even stay on that channel. I have 2 other channels, and I would switch to them because I don't want to be monetized. I don't want to be monetized because that's how they fucking get you. That's how they fuck you more than they already do without being monetized. So the whole timelines thing, it's going to be a little bit hard for you to understand too. That's why I usually don't talk about it till I get to like mid-series. I start bringing it up, and I'll mention it a little bit here and there. This conversation's a little more detailed about them, but there's reasons why I'm bringing it up now and I'm talking about it now, is because when I go behind the computer and show it to you in the moon, I'm going to be showing you the false creator / creators clock. And maybe this will help to understand it a little bit better when I start showing you. Because if I just start all of a sudden just pointing at a tree or a rock and start showing you the timelines, you're going to think that you're not seeing them. And I'm trying to reassure you that, yes, you are. You just think that you're not seeing them. You're like, is he talking about those fucking lines, all these little squiggly lines that are going through a damn tree? Is that what he's talking about? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Is he talking about when he holds it up to, where did I do before that came out really good? It was working really good. I guess this way. Show the lines of my, there we go. Is he talking about all those little lines and those faces and the images that I can see only in my imagination? And then you're gonna maybe have to look at somebody else and pull up your husband or wife or whoever you got around you, and verify, right? So if you see the images and you see the faces and you don't feel that comfortable about it, see if you can get someone else to look at the screen, whether it's in the trees, the moon, anywhere, and see if they can pick out the same images, because that's what I do with all of you. I've been tricking people for years. I've tricked thousands of people, and I call it tricking because I want you to know that I have to actually trick people. Otherwise, if I tell them what they're looking for first, then they're gonna refuse to look. Then I'm only gonna be seeing what they see in their imagination. That's always the way it goes. And then they'll start spouting out shit that they can pick out with their imagination. Well, I'm not looking for imagination shit. I'm looking for reality. Show me the fucking faces. If you think you got anything other than feline, canine, rodent, ape, community, show me. Duality. The false creator / creator's entire build was built on division. The male from female thing. I was explaining it the other day to some people. I don't want to rank anybody out. I don't want to pick on anybody, but it's very difficult because it's not like their brains can't go there. It's not like they don't have enough intelligence to carry on these conversations. They do. They run from these conversations because I'm gonna get mowed out. I'm gonna have to go over here and talk. They get fucking knocked down on these things and decide not to do it. And look, as soon as you tell them anything, because they've been beaten down so bad in society and worried about being called nuts or crazy if they notice these things, right? So yesterday was a conversation, and they were bringing up all the trans. I guess I don't know if I can even say it now because the channel will get shut down still, right? Now it's just the Republicans that are shutting us down for using transgender language. All right. So they were ranking out Michelle Obama because of the photos of Michelle with the big stump in her front crotch and everything with the dress on that time, and we don't know if any of them are real or not. Then they had all the stories from a long time ago about Michelle, showing Michelle pictures with her makeup taken off. Could have been CGI. They could have even dropped her cheekbones in CGI to make her look more male. They could have done a lot of things to do that. So whether she really was a man at one time or not, who the hell knows? But it was fun because I've learned over the last 20, 30 years that we've had many presidents that their wives were actually men. And then we learned about Da Vinci, and I brought up to these two guys. This is the same two guys I was talking about the other day, talking about other stuff. I was talking to them again, this time for even longer. I had them for like 2 hours the other day. So I was really, grilling them about all the shit that they said on the first day. And anyway, so they were bringing up Michelle, crap about Michelle Obama. So I said, well, you heard that they got the same photos of Melania now, right? Oh, that's what they're going to do now. They're going to say everything that they said. They're going to say it back and all this kind of shit. Like, it's so fucking childish, It's too important to not talk about as a serious thing. I mean, we should be talking about these things seriously. Whether they really did happen or not, whether the other presidents, because I believe it was Roosevelt and there were several of them that were married to men. They looked like men, right? They looked like guys to me. Even Washington's wife looked like possibly could have been a man. And then Da Vinci doing the painting as a woman himself, and people thinking it was a woman all of those years. And seeing with the Illuminati and the Freemasons and the Cabal, seeing what they do with all their rituals of everybody that's an actor, actress, musicians, they all have to go through these humiliation rituals, and they all have to do something or have something to do with the dressing like a girl, taking roles that think about it. Every television show, everything, every show we've ever watched, Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, MASH, all Three Stooges, they all had different episodes where men characters would have to dress as women. I don't. I guess it was the other way too. There were a lot of them too, where they always had to have a woman dressed as a man who didn't look nothing like a man, and somehow she sold everybody on this story that she was a guy to get in the locker room to play football with the boys. It's always some kind of shit. So everybody has to take these roles that are all this transgender, cross-dressing, other kind of shit to show duality, I guess, is the whole point. And then at the same time, they act like they hate it, that we don't want it here, and that it's got to go, 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 and all this shit. Just teaching us to all be divided, all hate each other for all different reasons. Too gay, too black, too white, too orange, too, you name it. Fucking colors, could be speak too slow, speak too fast, too rich, too poor. You name it. So we divided over every fucking thing. So that's just another thing to be divided over, okay? Okay. I know these stories are long drawn out. I know. All right. So what I've noticed since looking at the system, and I mentioned this before in other cloud videos and stuff like that, is the lack of femininity. The facial features on most of the humans, it's above 99%, appear to be, to me, male faces, and a huge lack of female faces that I see in the system, whether I'm looking at the trees, the rocks, the moon, you name it. But there is femininity. There is femininity in the moon for sure, because when I started finding this and I started questioning it, what I learned was by going I said to myself, when I first found the system, when I first found the true creator's work and the false creator's work and everything, I was surprised to find that when I went to the waters, and you can digitally collect the EMNC from waters, whatever movement they get. I prefer running water that's running down a river or a stream, crashing water, because there's more texture. Either way, the images are always the same. The bottom of the water, if it's a calm day, I'll grab from the rocks underneath the water. If it's a windy day, you're talking about wind at the top of the water, you're actually collecting the EMNC. If it's crashing water, you're collecting it from all over, because as they're crashing, you're collecting the imagery EMNC from everywhere. The rocks, the splashes, the wind, the pressure, you name it, it's all there for you, and it's all crashing, and the imagery is banging because you have so much texture. Just like the clouds that I'm showing you right now. If they didn't have the gaps in between and the blue sky in between, you would have a lot harder of time seeing what I'm showing you. Right now, I'm showing it to you, and there's no denying you're seeing it. You cannot lie to me. I know you can see what I'm showing you. I know I got a red filter and a blue filter on right now. So that's going to give you contrast in between these clouds even more so. So you got plenty of contrast. You have space in between what you think of as zero. You have spaces in between these clouds. So therefore, the builders are building it for you so you can see them. You can see the lines more clearly. Things are not as collaged because you have that blue sky. But now if it was a heavy rain day like yesterday, the day before, not even heavy rain, but rain somewhere coming, and the clouds were all thick and heavy. My battery's going to die any minute. um, all right, so what I wanted to point out, and I pointed out to those guys the other day, yesterday, that conversation was that the lack of femininity, I compare it to this. Okay, number one, we all have doppelgangers. They call them doppelgangers. And when you start looking at all the faces and everywhere around you, the true creators work, you're going to understand doppelgangers in a whole new way, in a way that you never thought you would understand doppelgangers and what it's all about. Because we all have doppelgangers, and it's obvious why we all have doppelgangers. Because there are only so many images in the system of the true creators' work. There are only so many. That doesn't mean that we look like each other, that we're going to think like each other, or have the same soul, or share a spirit. Nothing like that. That's all separate, and we're connected in a much different way than that. It's not about, the connection is not about visuality. It's not about the visual of the faces, but you can put together and understand better the whole doppelganger thing and know what it's really about, and why we all so much look like each other, and see that why there's so little difference between us, our looks and everything like that. Like if someone's twins, right? If someone has twins or triplets and they all look just alike, they try to separate each other with different clothes. One wears more makeup, one wears eyeshadow, the other one don't, whatever, they all hairdos, different clothing styles. um, they want to separate themselves and have some difference between each other. They don't all want, not everybody don't want to look alike. So all right, I gotta hurry up with this femininity story so the camera don't run out. All right, so here's what I realized. Number one, I'm prejudiced. It's inevitable. So I had to consider that when I started looking. And I'm saying to myself, okay, maybe you are seeing more feminine faces and you're just thinking that they're men, because if they don't have beards and they don't have anything that would obviously indicate male face, then maybe I should be a little more open-minded. Because when I think about it, over the years, I've had girlfriends over the years, right? And where you're dating them for, and I'm sure this happened to many people, you all know what I'm talking about. I'm dating them for a few months or whatever, and then I go and meet the family, and then it turns out that she looks more like her father and her brothers than I expected. And if I got to see them all the time, she don't look as much like her mother. She's got one third brother that looks more like the mother, and the rest of the family looks just like the father. This should not be a big fucking deal. But then one night when you're having sex, or whenever you're being romantic, and she takes off her glasses and her makeup's not on and her hair's not done, and you realize, oh my God, I'm making out with her father. She looks just like her fucking dad. This sucks, and it ruins it for you. All right. So maybe if you never met the fucking father, and I'm sure this goes both ways. I'm sure this happens to women as well. If they look too much like their mother, they got too much of their mother's attitude. You're like, oh my God, he's way too feminine for me. I got to get out of here. I've actually been on that side of the story too. When I used to be more femmy, then I learned not to be so feminine. Um, Yeah, battery's gonna die anytime. So I started looking, so curly eyelashes and higher cheekbones and things that would indicate and show me some femininity. And when you do get femininity, when I see femininity, it's really strong. And I don't have any doubt that it's a feminine face when I do see it. But all the ones that I might miss on, I might be missing on them because of my own prejudices. If they don't have the high cheekbones, if they don't have the curly eyelashes naturally, if they don't have the wider eyes naturally that I would relate to femininity, right? If they don't have the, sometimes you get a neck, sometimes you don't. So if I get an Adam's apple on a female face, all right, then I might go the other way on it, because it does happen both ways. Sometimes men can look more what we consider feminine features. So there's a whole twist of things that are going to go on when we're looking at the feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast faces only. All right, so the camera's about to shut off on me anyway, so I might as well just end this. I'm gonna go roll the other camera, but I don't expect that I'll do any more talking today because I'm all talked out. I know I missed a bunch of shit because I take myself off the subject because feel that I have to explain something before I can move on to the next thing, and I have to explain so much, and I end up forgetting a bunch of shit. And I know I did in all these explanations. I missed at least two things, and I can't even remember now. I kept thinking as I was talking, I want to go back, but then I forgot them all the way now. So I don't have enough time to keep talking until I remember them again. It's fucking crazy. I'll just mention real quick, if I can, Massachusetts, a woman named Cynthia. The hell's her last name now? Look at this. There's a low flying plane. You don't see those too much. We do have an airport near our spot. Must be Trump. Must be Trump. Fucking putting us under civil war. Um, anyways, Massachusetts just became the first state to, it's called S-2246 is the name of the bill. And what they're going to do now is they're doing drive-in restrictions and tracking. This is new and it's permanent. And what they're going to do is all vehicles have to be equipped with a tracking device. They're putting on new police agency. They're going to add another police agency to handle this statewide. And they're going to add plate readers and cameras up the ass. They are also allowed to use home cameras that they can tap into anytime that are also plate reader equipped. So they're totally all hooked up now. They're passing the bill yesterday or today. It's going through. No one's complaining about it. No one even they all pretend not to even know about it. I've been emailing people, texting people, whatever. Not emailing, but texting people. No one's getting back to me. They just went, oh, okay. You fucking assholes, man. Fucking unbelievable. So we're going to be in a 15-minute range, and they're advising in the bill. It advises that if you live more than 15 minutes away, that you should get a job closer to home, or you should get a house closer to where you work and do recreation. Believe that shit? And even unmotorized vehicles, even trailers, campers, pull-alongs, they all have to be tagged with trackers. They're going to track with the plate readers and your inspection sticker to make sure that, whatever the plate readers don't catch and whatever cameras don't catch, they'll be able to know if you got extra miles anyways. And then also the same thing, vice versa. If someone was to unhook their speedometer for some reason or something, trying to get less mileage and pay less during their inspection sticker, well, they're going to make sure you can't do that too, because they're going to compare all the numbers. And there's no time. I mean, every third house that you go by has a camera on it, and these camera companies have all sold into the system. And now you got Elon Musk and you got Palantir running their show with all that. So the tracking is unbelievable. And as far as freedom to travel, all done. All fucking done. So anybody that's homeless, that's traveling state to state and bouncing around, or anybody that just prefers to live in several states, or any contractors that want to go. This is another one. They suggest that anybody that's a contractor or delivery drivers, long distance delivery drivers, all take local 15-minute ride distance, take only those jobs. And it's only a suggestion, because if you don't, then they will be fining you for it. You will be getting taxed for driving over your allowed travel allowances. And it won't be hard to hold up your money, because you're going over to digital currency. You're going over to digital ID and digital currency. So for them to be able to hold your fucking money, there won't be no such thing as money anymore. You just be your yearly allowances. Whatever the government tells you you're allowed to make, that's what you're going to make. Even if you're a fucking business owner, they're doing this. And my friends that own businesses don't believe me, but yet the bill's right there sitting on the desk. Read it. So if they're making these suggestions that you move closer to work, what the fuck do you think that means? Since when have they been able to tell contractors, oh no, if business is slow, you don't have the right to go all the way to Connecticut to look for work. You can't cross state lines, and if you do, they're going to start getting you over there, and you're not allowed to do that because you're more than 15 miles away anyways. So you're not allowed to do any of that shit, you know? It's total fucking slavery, man. It is total fucking slavery. That's why I keep telling everybody that comes to my channel how important this is, that you all go look at what it is I'm showing you. It's the only way I can see to end it, because you have the evidence that it's not anything that they claimed it was. It's none of the religions they claimed it was. It's none of the monetary system they claimed it was. It's none of the math or science that they claimed it was. It's the relationships, men and women, male and female. Nothing is what they told us it is. Human, biological fucking beings is not what they told us it is. The medical industry is not what they told us it is. We were lied to about everything. And it's always, in order to be, it can't just be different, it's got to be opposite. So when they tell you it's health, and it's medical is for your medical health, and food is for your nourishment, for your bio selves, you know fuck well it's the opposite of that. All right? Everyone's got to wake up, man. Everyone's got to fucking wake up. I'm trying so hard to show all you, so you can all see this, so you can get off your fucking asses, because this is not something. Civil war. We're under a civil war in our country, and everybody's still ignoring it, pretending that it's fucking nothing, that it's no big deal, that it's not really happening. Bullshit. You can see it. It's all fake. It's all fucking bullshit, man. Fake meaning that it's all based on lies. That's what I'm saying. Everything. War based on fucking lies. Family all based on lies. Freedom's all lies.